One more time for Brittany, folks. And we're just going to keep this going because I got nothing funny to say. How can I follow that? But we got a wonderful comedian coming up. If you ever wondered what it looked like if Mountain Dew was a human being and it grew up to be an adult, this, I think, is what it might be. Ladies and gentlemen, Kulseth. Keep it going for David Diesel, everybody. Yeah, how you doing tonight, Bozeman? That's all right. That's good. I have heard it said from time immemorial by sages and storytellers alike that when a man finds his home and he is then caused by circumstance or choice to leave that home, that he can never truly go back. But I don't know if I believe that, because I used to live up in Missoula too, and sometimes I'll go back there to visit, and I'll go to that gas station on 3rd and Russell, and I'll go into the beer cave, and that guy behind the counter will still look at me and go, "Still with the bush lights?" He thought moving to the high country was going to change up the menu a little bit, I guess. I guess Brittany's got the market cornered on too much drinking material. Go ahead and veer left for a little bit. All right, you guys know me a little bit better. I'd like the opportunity to get to know all of you a little bit better. How many believers in the paranormal we got out there tonight? A couple of you? A few of you? Chupacabra. Let's hear it for Chupacabra. Chupacabra? All right, no, not Chupacabra. How about Nessie? Loch Ness Monster? All right, we got a few of those. All right, now, separate question. How many country music fans we got in here tonight? There are a few quiet liars in this room. That's for damn sure. Now, I don't believe in the paranormal, and I'm not a fan of country music. But I'm going to tell you why those two thoughts are related. See, when I was growing up, I cut my teeth on punk rock, like Chicago punk rock, like Honor System, Lawrence Arms, bands like that. And it was like the cool thing to be when I was young, punk rock guy, you know. But now, I'm in my 30s, and I am bleeding cool points out my feet. Like, you're watching me get lamer in real time, guys. Drink it in. And I wish that I believed in the paranormal. Like demonic possession. Because if I believed in demonic possession, I'd have some excuse other than just getting old and shitty. For just losing punk cred as I go along. You know what I mean? I drive for Lyft sometimes, and one night I had to give this couple a ride home, way clear out past the Four Corners, and they got in my car, and they're like, "Hey man, can you put on some country for us?" I'm like, "Yeah, all right." Put on the country station. I drive out there, and they're a nice couple, you know, they're fun, we talk, we chat a little bit, but then, on the drive back in, I'm like halfway back into Bozeman before I realize, I'm I'm checking to see if anybody else is in the car. I watched them get out of it. Just like, all right. Better keep the Lord close, or that Dirks Bentley motherfucker will sneak in from the margins. I'll tell you that right now. Bigfoot. How about Bigfoot? Believers? We got a few, again, quiet liars. We got a lot of Bigfoot people in this room. I've seen you. Bigfoot's not real either. I'm sorry. I wish I believed. But Bigfoot is a falsification, and I'm going to tell you how I know that. Because this is America, baby. And if he was real, we would have found a way to eat him or weaponize him by now. That's the truth right there. This is Bozeman, Montana. If Bigfoot was real, I could walk out that door, down that block to Main Street, and a 24-year-old with a backwards baseball cap would lean out of a truck and try to sell me a Bigfoot sandwich for $20. Is it out of season or is it fake? You tell me. Occam's razor. We haven't militarized Bigfoot yet either. That's the shits, that is. If Bigfoot was real, he'd be in the army. You gotta think about that for a minute. Because think about Bigfoot. Big, strong, got this savage strength to him. But he's also very stealthy, very good in the woods. Tell me we wouldn't have won Vietnam if Bigfoot had an AK and them big old meaty fists. Give me a fucking break. The big broad shoulders, tell me some stripes wouldn't look good on those. And it's very expensive, war is, you know, because you got to feed all those soldiers, right? What does Bigfoot eat? What's Bigfoot's diet? If 1997's Disney classic A Goofy Movie is to be believed as canon, fucking tree bark. Not cheap, that is! We can feed an army of those guys for pennies! That's how I know Bigfoot isn't real. He's not bringing the oil home. I'm ready for the revolution. You guys ready for the revolution? Who's ready for the revolution? That's right. We are here tonight at the Labor Temple, where we stick up for ourselves as working class people, and I'm ready for the revolution to bring people together instead of capitalism dividing them. I'm ready for this system that's unfair and that is unequal to fall, and I'm ready to bring it down and usher in a new age. But Domino's Pizza, man, they're fucking crushing it, aren't they? They are fucking killing it right now. Domino's Pizza, you know how they started? It was just one guy in some town in the middle of the country with not much but a sauce recipe and a business loan. I call that the American dream. I don't know about you. I know, okay, but I am though, for real, I am. I'm ready for us to band together as people and to bring this system crashing down, to turn it inside out, this system that keeps the low low and keeps the powerful powerful and makes that divide bigger and makes hurt people hurt and makes powerful people even more so. I'm ready for that to end. I'm sick of this. I'm ready for a new world. Domino's Pizza, though. They got that new, like, pizza mobile. It's like both a car and an oven. Like on an episode of Storage Wars, they like found like a dusty old Easy Bake in an attic. They're like, we can put wheels on this. Bake while you drive. That's inspiring. That's ingenuity. That's the American spirit. That's all that is. But I am though. It's time. It's time for the world to change. It's time for people to come together instead of go apart. And the only reason that it doesn't change is that we allow it not to. You know, we've got the numbers, they need us, we don't need them. It's time to reinvent a new reality for ourselves. Do you guys remember a couple of years back when the fine folks at Domino's Pizza were running that ad campaign where if you ordered a pizza, they would fill fucking potholes on your street? So the delivery guy could get you your pizza faster? That's how capitalism's working, folks. The pizza company's filling the potholes your city government can't afford to. I'm not saying it's working, I'm just saying it's working for somebody. Anybody out there in good shape? Neat. How's that? Don't answer. I keep telling myself I'm going to get in shape one of these days, you know. I'm going to start jogging, go for a run now and then. And then I realize I probably can't do that because I don't have the proper attire. And I don't want to buy it. So that's my bag. I want to get something going, but I don't want to dump the dimes out of the beer bottle. You know what I mean, Bozeman. But if you're thinking to yourself out there right now, wait a minute, Kyle, hold up, stop. Jogging is not a uniform sport. There's no right or wrong attire for it. You're wrong! You want to know how I know you're wrong? Consider this. If you've ever seen this just out for a casual run of a Wednesday, you know that's a vision that'll put you in a corner you didn't ask to be put into. Just this, just shoes, just jeans, sweaty band t-shirt with a nacho stain on it. That comes past you down the bike lane, a knife arming down the lane. That's gonna make you ask some questions. Yes, Daisy Dukes, you wish. It ain't that warm. It's only a $5 cover, my friend. Thanks for being here. But you know, you got somebody with like good running shoes, like fancy shorts, Adidas t-shirt, like maybe a cool haircut. Good for them, right? Huh? Good looking. That's somebody who's taking their life by the steering wheel and trying to turn things back onto the road a little bit. Good look. You just see faded Lawrence Arms t-shirt, shitty shoes, just coming past you at a high knee stride. That's somebody with secrets. Secrets they never should have been trusted with. Oh no, my lunch break's only 20 minutes longer. The boss is gonna be mad. But I gotta get these files back to Mikhail at the embassy, or he's gonna nail my toes together. And I love running! So that's why I'm not getting in shape. My imagination. So I'm not doing that. I think that's the main reason, too, why I hope I'm never convicted of a crime that carries the death penalty. You know, not because I'm like clinging so hard to this mortal coil. I just don't want my last move on the chessboard to be a prison guard finding out how easy I'd settle on my last supper. And I was like, hey, inmate Kulseth, it's almost time. Ready to walk the mile, son? Good. Here are those gas station sausages you asked for. Oh man, look at him. Well, at least he knew value when he saw it. 2 for $3, that's not bad. You know, you're right. Given the circumstances, you would think he wouldn't be in such a hurry. Oh, what's that, inmate? Still hungry? Here, I got you one of those hot stuffed pizza slices from under the lamp. Yeah, that's right. I had a hunch when you ordered the sausages. Hey, inmate, Kulseth, slow down. That cheese is hot. Nobody wants to ride old Sparky with burn scars on their chin. I don't like to think that I peaked in this life before I could legally buy cigarettes. But bearing that in mind, I do want to tell you a story about how when I was 12 years old, I successfully talked my dad into buying me a katana from a gun show at a Holiday Inn in Wyoming. I don't know if you guys have met 12-year-olds. They're all psychopaths. All of them. And my dad had known this one the whole time. But we get up there, and I ask for the sword, and he's immediately, very understandably, offering up all these reasons and justifications why that's a terrible idea, obviously. And he just says, listen, your mom is going to be so mad because you got a sword in your hands, and she's going to know you didn't get it yourself. And I know what you all are thinking as I tell this story. No fedora. No hair on the chin, only 2 chins. This is not a man who studied the way of the blade. But I still had some mystical ninja in me because I just went into evasive mode and I said, that's true, Father. But she's not going to realize that you thought that through. She doesn't think you're that smart. Yeah. And my father, he just looked at me with this look in his face, like, I do not recognize your clan symbol, young samurai. Be you friend or foe? My dad, bless me, thought for another moment. He said, all right, but look, it's still true that if I buy you that, and we go home, and you walk in with a goddamn sword in your hand, which, footnote, swords, okay, not as dangerous as guns, true. But they're still how, like, ninjas solved arguments, not a toy. If you walk in with a goddamn sword, your mom's not going to talk to me for 2 weeks. And I looked him right in the eye and I said, exactly. And I watched my dad's eyes get big as footballs and his hands shoot into his pocket and whip out a $100 bill. First time I'd ever seen a Benjamin. And just slam it down on the table in front of the gun show guy for a $30 sword that was probably worth $15. So, I don't know, you tell me if I've hit my ceiling yet. No, I guess. I broke broke my thumb, y'all. Broke my thumb! Broke it! Been on this earth for 34 goddamn years. I've never broken a bone in my life. But last weekend, you watered the lawn a little too long. Old Uncle Breadstick just pours a little big boy syrup on the short stack for a few too many hours, and all of a sudden I'm getting in fights with the ground. Don't do it. The ground is a big, tough bastard. So now I can't put my pants on unless I allot time. Unless I set aside pants time. I'm gonna do that now. I had to have a friend button this cuff of my jacket. Just like a child would do. Just like, can you button my... It's terrible. If you're gonna break a bone, do something that you can get some sympathy for. Don't break your thumb, because you can't do shit with this hand if you break your thumb, and no one's gonna give a shit. They're just gonna think you tried rollerblading in your 30s for the first time. Nope. Just real bad at making decisions like a grown-up. I know I'm up in my own head too much about stuff like that, though, too. Because sometimes I will look to inanimate objects for a response as though they had sought communication first. Yeah. So I don't know if you're keeping score on spiritual reality, but that's where I'm walking. That's my walk with the Lord. I was out last spring. It was like the first real nice day we had. You know, the sun was out. It was, 50-something degrees out, which after last winter felt tropical. And, the sun was out, people were out, jogging, walking their dogs, birds were singing. It was beautiful, it was great. And I kind of tripped over a rock that was sticking up off the ground, but I didn't trip all the way, I kind of half tripped and caught myself, like doing the inexperienced Superman, just like, oh, I didn't know this was an option. But I did, I tripped on the rock. And then I got annoyed at a rock. And I looked over my shoulder, and I glared at it. At a rock. Just like one of the backwards baseball caps at Bar 9 will do to you on a Wednesday if you brush up against his shoulder a little too hard, or passionately. The only thing that would have made it any better is if I would have circled around drunk off my tit later and found that same rock and just been like, I respect you, man. You're a good guy. You're a good guy. I'm gonna buy you. No, I will buy you a drink. That's the only thing that could have made it better. And the sad thing is, for the most part, I'm doing okay, right? I have a job. I can keep a roof over my head. I can afford therapy. The joke used to go, I could probably afford therapy if I wanted it, but I'm actually doing it now. So I have even less of an excuse for this kind of stuff. I'm just like some high-strung idiot just shouting at a fire hydrant for answers after he walks his knee into it. Just, who sent you? So that's about where it's at. Guys, my name is Kyle Kulseth. Thank you so much for being here. That's my time. I've got some merch in the back. It's very cheap, but if you'd like it, I'm going to give 100% of my sales tonight to Comedy Gate, so hopefully we can pay the room off and do this again sooner. Thank you very much, Bozeman.
Yeah, buy some merch. Let's keep this going. Kyle reminding us that one of the greatest human inventions, the thumb, when not usable, will not get you any sympathy. But yeah, you can still function, just like how if you don't have use of your frontal cortex, you can still become president. Hey! Hey! Cheap political jokes, folks. Hey! It's a union hall, you know what I mean? Hey! I have been getting older. I turned 41 this year. Yeah. In a couple of months, I turned 41, and most of my friends from high school were a couple classes above me, so we've been getting into interesting conversations that I never thought we would have. The other day I was talking to a couple of friends at once, and somebody brought up erectile dysfunction. Yeah, so they were like, oh, well, yeah, that's something that's going to start happening. What are you guys planning on doing? And, one of my friends is like, well, weed works for me, so I don't really have to worry about that. And one of my other buddies was like, well, you know, we've got all sorts of great medications here in America. There's, you know, Viagra and all that. And I was like, but I prefer the old Eastern medicines, so I'll use white rhino horn. You know, and somebody was like, oh, white rhino horn powder? Where do you get that? And I was like, no, white rhino horn, you just shove that fucker up there and you're as hard as trigonometry. And then one of my friends was like, well, isn't that kind of animal cruelty? And I was like, well, I blindfold them before I bring them into the room. Not an animal. Jeez. Just think about it for a while. Just sit in that silence. No, okay.